Hi and welcome to my first ever video tutorial. Let's see how this goes. I think the sound quality is a bit shit, but we'll have to live with it because it's what I have. Okay, so when you want to make a landscape, you want to start with like a sketch, just to in order not to get lost. I mean, it can be as simple as this. Doesn't need to be anything. Just like it can be a piece of paper and just put some things down. Otherwise, you might get very lost. Of course, it's easy to get lost in the 3D space. All right, now we have this. I'm gonna put this in my second monitor so I can look at it all the time. So let's start with blocking. We don't want to do a lot of detail to begin with. We want to block with like just with primitives. We don't care about detail right now. We want to try and keep things reasonably on scale. It just makes things easier in the long run. One easy way to do this is put a figure in there. The figure is going to be a human-sized figure, so it gives you an idea of how big this landscape is. So I don't know, we want this platform to be like this, and then I want to do a second platform. Oops, what's going on? There. That's smaller, like this. And then we want some sandy terrain around it. Now, if you want to do a sandy terrain, I recommend against, or any organic terrain, I recommend against the landscape object, which has very little control. I recommend making a plane. And adding a displacer deformer. Now, why? You will see. Now the displacer takes as input a shader, which means you can put, for example, in the easiest case, you can just put a noise in here. And bam, you have like a regular landscape, and you can control it with the noise. That's now with this light, it's a bit hard to see. I'm gonna turn on the lines, and we can make this as pronounced as we want. We can go into the noise and change the scale to make it more smooth, more or less smooth. Now, will you run into a problem if you want to make detail in this landscape? There's only 10 by 10 polygons in this plane, so we want to crank that up in order to introduce detail here. Let's see, 100 by 100. Oh, now you see we're getting onto something, but it's still not enough. Now you can also just put that plane inside subdivider. Whoop, and then you have that. And the great thing about the shader, about the noise thing, is that you have all these types of noises here that give you different results. And more than that, you can combine them using a layer shader. The layer shader is a bit like Photoshop, where you can put multiple, like let's say I want to put here a gradient and have this gradient on a multiply. What it does is it modulates the amount of displacement there is in the whole thing. You can spend a long time fucking around with this. Maybe even make it move. If you give it animation speed, it will move across time. See, anyway. But let's not forget, we're still blocking. We don't want to get into detail. So, what else is there? We want to make a tower, and a gate, and a gun turret, whatever. We're blocking, we just make it simple. Cylinder. Duplicate the cylinder. You can control drag an object to duplicate it. There we have some kind of tower. No detail. That will come later. First we wanna try to make it see how it looks. I'm gonna group these guys. Name it tower. Again, control drag it. And where's the other little? I'm missing the. This other platform here. I already want to create some basic materials to be able to see what's going on here, because it's too damn monochrome. So let's pretend that the organic, this is sand, so it's yellow, and this is some kind of brick. Right, we're missing a tower here. Let's put on a cylinder. Whatever, we're just blocking. And now we have to put random cigarettes, right? And this is where one of the greatest tools for landscape blockings is, which is the cloner object. And I don't know if you're familiar with the cloner object, but the cloner object, basically you give it one object and it puts it, makes multiple copies of it. And one of the things you can do with it is use another object as the surface across which you scatter the one object. So we're gonna make one cigarette. Oops. It's gonna be a giant cigarette. It's gonna be a 4-meter tall cigarette. And I'm gonna give it a material already, because otherwise I'm not gonna be able to see that is a cigarette. And I really want to see that it's a cigarette. I'm gonna use a gradient material to create a cigarette. Lay it out vertically. Have it yellow, orange on one side. Make the interpolation, step interpolation, and bam. A cigarette is had. I think I want it on the other side though. No, it's fine. And now I'm gonna add it to a cloner object. This is the cloner object. We put the cigarette inside. What it automatically does is make 3 copies vertically. We don't want that. We want to change the mode from linear to object. And we are gonna add the plane that we used before for the sand as the object. So we drag that here, and with this, here we got a bunch of cigarettes across the landscape. Doesn't look great. We can always try and do some of these. Now there's some cigarettes inside here. There's a way of getting rid of them. Not see those ones, those cigarettes here. We go into MoGraph selection, then we select these guys. You see the dot turned yellow. If I click on one and click on another, it's only that one selected, so I have to drag along it or press shift when I'm clicking. Anyway, now they're selected. I go hide selected. MoGraph, that was MoGraph, hide selected. And there, we got a bunch of cigarettes laying around. And there, now let's introduce the gate. Now here we'll have to do a little bit of polygon modeling, of real polygon modeling, because we want a gate. We don't want just a block. Doesn't let us see what we want to see. So we press C to make this object editable. I am going to go to mesh cut loop. And here I can make it do 2 loops equidistance, and maybe I'll make another one that goes like this. I think that's good enough. Now we will select this face, shift select the other face, delete, and bridge these edges together using MB for bridge. Oops, no, I have to select, I have to be in edge selection mode. Bam, bam, bam. Alright. Now, and there we have our basic little landscape. And this was just for blocking. Alright, let's see how that went.